What's up, YouTube world? We're getting ready to get it done. Stay tuned, and we're going to talk about how to choose a fishing kayak. In the words of Randy Macho Man Savage, oh yeah! Alright guys, welcome back to the Outdoor Heretic. Before you even get started today, I want you to do this. I want you to go subscribe, download. I want you to hit the like button over here, over there, wherever it's at. Alright guys, wind's blowing, and I'm going to try to get this video off. The Outdoor Heretic back with you. Now, I've been getting this question recently. Alright, not a lot, but my friends have been asking, which pretty much narrows it down to two people. Alright, so they've been asking, how do I choose a fishing kayak? What do I look for in a fishing kayak? You realize back in Jesus' day, they only had one type. It was made by Noah and processed by Mr. Wood. Anyway, alright, you want to choose a fishing kayak. Now, I'm not going to do a review of my kayaks. I've done those before, and there are a million reviews on YouTube. Matter of fact, I checked those out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you today and tell you how I go about and choose a fishing kayak. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, option one. This is where you need to get the pen and paper. You need to write this down. You need to save this into your computer, and you need to hide this from your wife. Alright, number one thing you need to understand when choosing a fishing kayak is you need to understand what type of water are you going to fish. What type of water are you going to fish? Now, here's why that's important. Because as you guys probably understand, you've watched umpteen thousand reviews online, you've looked at every kayak there is to look at, and you just can't decide. Well, one of those things that you need to realize, wider the kayak, the more stability, the shorter the kayak, the slower it will go. The wider it is, the shorter it is, the slower it's going to go. So let me tell you what you need to think about. Alright, so as you've watched 10,000 reviews and you've come across and you try to decide what vessel you're going to get, what kayak you're going to buy, you're thinking about what type of water am I going to fish. Now, if you're going to fish in the ocean, the top water is not your kayak. Doesn't handle the chop as well, going to get wet, and that's not something you want. Now, as you've probably learned, and you know, the shorter the vessel, the slower it is. The wider the vessel, the more stable it is. I value stability, meaning I want both of my kayaks to be stable. So, with that in mind, listen, I get wet when I'm fishing. I get wet when I'm paddling. I'm going to be wet in the kayak. Not soaked, but I'm going to get some water on me, so I don't mind the chop. The other thing is, I'm not going across 15 miles on the lake. If I need to fish a different part of the lake, I'll port it into the back of my truck, and I'll go to that part of the lake. I'll go find a boat ramp and go fish that part of the lake. If you're going to buy a fishing kayak, you gotta know where are you going to fish. That will help you pick which kayak you should have. Alright, if you haven't fallen asleep yet, Step two, you just figured out what body of water you're going to fish. So if you're a saltwater guy, you may need a longer, more sleeker kayak. You may need something inside that 34-inch mark. But now for number two. Number two, you got to figure out what are you fishing for. Now, if you're a saltwater guy, again, you may have a multitude. That's a Bible word, by the way. So is ignorant. Don't be ignorant. You may have a multitude of species if you're fishing saltwater. Now, if you're a bass guy, you may have a different priority than I have. I fish typically for crappie, and I fish for those big bull brim or shell cracker. Now, in doing that, there's some things I have to compensate for. One of those is that I have to stay on top of them. Now, here's the bad thing about paddling. Here's what nobody will tell you. If you've not done this and you're looking to buy your first kayak, paddling, the wind blows 3 miles an hour, you're going to move. So for me, as a crappie fisherman, and needing to fish slow and needing to fish those beds, I have to compensate with the paddle. So my strategy is paddle upwind when I'm strong and I'm feeling tough, and I paddle upwind, and then I use the wind to come back because it's easier when I get tired. Slow it down with the kayak, with my paddle. All right. So if that be the case, you got to consider, what are you fishing for? Some of you may not have any clue what you're going to fish for, and that's okay. You might be, maybe there's a lot of species you're going to go after. I'm going after crappie. So with that said, I wanted to upgrade to a peddle kayak. I needed something that can hold me into place. Now, some guys are going to say, how about an anchor? Throw an anchor, man. It's easy, dude. Throw an anchor. Well, here's the thing. I'm 47 years old. Every time I throw 3 to 5 pounds out of that boat, and I got to pull it back in, and I'm fishing, and I'm paddling, and I'm trying to eat a ham sandwich or a Bojangles biscuit. You can say thank you later, Bojangles, because you just got some free advertisement. I'm trying to do all of those things, and I got to pull up an anchor every 2 minutes, because reality is, I'm just not good enough. I don't find fish every time I stop, right? Maybe you do, and that's not a consideration. So when you're looking at kayak, make sure you are considering what you're fishing for. All right, step 3. All right, step 3 in considering how to choose a fishing kayak. Step 3 in choosing fishing kayak, and this time I want to bring the camera around so you can see my kayak. This is my first kayak. I bought this thing, and these fishing rod holders were not on the front of my kayak. Get a good view of that. Guess where they were? On the back, right? And now this may not make any sense to you. When your neck is like this all day long because you're checking to see if your rods are getting a bite, guess how your neck's going to be the next day? You guessed it. And I'm 47 and it hurts. I'm sore the next day. So guess what you want to do? If you're choosing a fishing kayak, you want to make sure that you have room for accessories in the front. What I loved about the Old Town Predator is I didn't have to drill into the boat. When I bought this one, it had these wonderful marine grade planks that you could drill into. Now I keep my rod holders. I'm a crappie fisherman. Post spawn, guess what I'm doing? I'm trolling. And even during the spawn, I'm casting, putting my rod in the holder, and I'm trying to stabilize the boat with a paddle. So when I've upgraded and went to the pedal drive, guess what was important to me? This is like taking a test and having all the answers. That's right. I wanted the ability to have accessories up here in the front. Now, bass guys may say, you know what? I'm moving, and my consideration isn't the same as yours. I'm not telling you that this fits everybody. I'm just telling you, consider it. Because you know what? You're going to want to stop and drink you a beer. Root beer! What do you think I was talking about? Anyways, you're going to want to stop and either have a drink, get you some water, get rehydrated, or you're going to want to kick back and put your rods in a rod holder and chill out for a few minutes and listen to Hank Williams Jr. Number 4. That's after number 3. That's before number 5. Number 4 is portability. Meaning, you got to understand what can your body take, how fast can you get it in, and how fast can you get it out. Now here's the deal. I've seen the Hobies, the 12-foot Hobie that weighs approximately 150 pounds. I've seen the 14-foot. Those are nice boats. I even like those fins. That just is special. But here's the deal. I can't afford a $5,000-$6,000 kayak. And if I could, I probably am going to buy me a boat. It would just be easier. But those guys that's got those big kayaks and they got those nice kayaks, they've got trailers to be able to get them into the water. So if you're going to buy a new kayak, you got to figure out, can I port that thing? Can I put it in the back of my truck? Can I throw it in and take off? I like to call it stow and go. Meaning, can I get it into the back of the truck and go where I'm going? I live approximately 45 minutes away from anywhere I want to fish. That means if I'm going to work and I'm working in Raleigh or the Raleigh area, I can throw my kayak in the back of my truck and I can throw my fishing poles and I could be gone and tell my wife that I'm working all day. Not true. Anyways, when choosing a fishing kayak, you gotta make sure that you can get it in and out. Listen, my Old Town Predator MX weighs approximately 86 pounds. My new Topwater pedal drive weighs approximately, I think it's 76.5 pounds. Meaning that without the pedal drive, it's lighter than my Predator. But you throw that 21-pound thing that you drive with your feet, whatever you call it, pedal, it gets heavy. Alright gang, I've given you some tools. I've given you all the tools I know to tell you. I've given you the information. Are there other things out there? Absolutely. Listen, there's some guys that will tell you when choosing a fishing kayak, choose it for your seat. I will tell you the Old Town Predator, best seat in the house. You're never going to get a better seat. Matter of fact, I just come out sometimes, sit right on the Old Town Predator and watch TV and tell my wife to give me a Sam string. Listen, that was one of the knocks on the Topwater is the seat is not as good as the Old Town Predator, not as sturdy, not as comfortable. The bar right here hits you and around me. Anyways, this seat probably not going to bother me. Seats really are not a consideration. Stability, as I mentioned, biggest consideration I have because I want to be able to stand up. I don't stand up to fish. I actually stand up about every hour to stretch my legs and just get comfortable and to go pee. Can I say that on YouTube? Just got kicked off. The biggest thing for me, and I want to show you this, the biggest thing for me was in my new kayak just to have a hatch where I can put my fish finder battery. And I looked at other kayaks that impressed me just as much, like the Jackson Bite FD, but they didn't have a hatch up front. Had nowhere to put my battery. I'd had to buy another bag and even pay the same amount for the kayak. Got a hatch on the Topwater, and that's important to me. Listen, if you've watched this video and you feel like it's helped you, then I want you to do this. Go and subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm going to beg you, please subscribe. It's right there. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. And you know what? I might even give you something if you do it.